So after World War II, Canada's federal government really invested in housing. They wanted to make sure that soldiers coming home from war who just served their country had somewhere to live. And so in the 50s and in the 60s, there was just an incredible investment in social housing. So how do we provide housing for as many people as possible? And certainly in that time, there were some people who experienced homelessness, but it was paled in comparison to the numbers of people that we have experiencing homelessness now. It was also almost exclusively adult men who were moving from city to city looking for work. And so we didn't see the rate of women and youth, for example, experiencing homelessness. And so from the 50s straight on through up until the 80s, we had a huge investment in social housing. So for example, in 1973, 20,000 units of social housing were built in just that 1 year. And that investment in 20,000 housing units a year happened every year for a decade. So there was tons of social housing across Canada. And then in the 1980s, they started to slow down that investment in social housing until 1993, when the federal government said, we're out of the housing game. We're taking a step back. We're not going to support social housing anymore. And they put it onto the provinces to say, this is up to you now. You're responsible for housing now. At the same time, in the 1990s, we were seeing huge cuts across the country in different provinces. I'm in Ontario, and that was something really big happening in the 90s in Ontario. So this was cuts to social assistance, cuts to different kinds of welfare programming. So there was certainly not an investment from the provincial government to maintain and build new social housing units. So for example, we had 20,000 units being built every year beginning in 1973. In 1995, it was 1,000 housing units built in that year. So a huge drop in the number of units we were building. At the same time, those social housing units that were being built in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, they were starting to get older, and so they needed repairs. And so that investment was no longer there in maintaining the social housing that did exist. So not only were we not building new housing, we were starting to lose the social housing that had been built previously because it was falling into disrepair. People weren't able to maintain it. And so that's what we've been dealing with for quite a long time, is this huge disinvestment in social housing.